How many people are rooting for Boxmeister? Raise your hand.
Alright, and there we go.
Oh. How many people are rooting for PhazonKnight? Raise your hand. Ooh, Phazon and Box having difficulty with the climb. Phazon just dropped straight to the ground. He's gonna do it again. That's... Ooh. I think this is race jitters.
So we've already got a pretty decent lead from Box coming out of the first minute of the run. Yeah, that first climb is pretty difficult, so it's not surprising that at least one of them, but both of them messed it up.
We see that early high five. I think this has to be the fastest high five in Fusion.
Yeah, so this race is actually going to be pretty interesting. Both of these runners are separated by a minute in their PBs. Boxmeister has a 51, and PhazonKnight has a 52.
Yeah, considering their PBs being so close to each other, it really is anyone's game. It's all going to come down to who executes better, or even who has better RNG, or maybe whose text mashing is more optimal.
Or maybe someone who loads the save state.
I have seen runs where the races were decided by text mash. Looking good so far for Boxmeister. No major mistakes on his way to the first upgrade of the game. It looks like he's 4 seconds behind his gold split. PhazonKnight is 1,000,000 seconds behind due to the
due to the really good climb.
That climb cost him a lot of time.
So now they both have missiles. In this game you start off with 10 missiles, and typically most runners will finish with between 40 or 45. Missiles are really important, especially in early game, to keep a good number of them, because we don't really have a faster way of dealing with enemies until for another 6 to 7 minutes. So they're really important to keep your count high.
Not a lot of people know or realize is that missile management is really important throughout most of the any percent category. A lot of people associate missile management with just Sector 1, but when it comes down to it, for example, Sector 3 into Sector 6 is missile management, and then Sector 5 into Emergency is also missile management. Of course, every single IDOR will give you a red X, but in terms of racing and getting PVs and all of that, you want to make sure that you can, if possible at all, avoid getting red X's, because it loses you like 2 frames, man. Box 0 rolls. very good fight there, and he gets that initial double. So does Phazon getting that 0 roll Arachnus. Although Phazon's missing one missile. Like I said, missile management, right? So he's going to spend a little bit more time here killing this Core X.
Yeah, he got a lot of yellow X drops, which is really unlucky.
It is possible if you hit all of your missiles on Arachnus that you will have enough missiles for the core. So PhazonKnight needing a green X meant that he tinked somewhere.
Now we have Morph Ball, which is really helpful. It allows us to get through small holes that we couldn't get through before. And yeah.
Alright, so looks like Xoneris came back. It's the old daylight saving time trick, and it bamboozled our European runner. So I think we're gonna try to figure out a way to get both of these runs in at the same time.
Yeah, I think we're gonna switch to the 4-person layout kind of in the middle of this, and just have them start up another race.
Yep, we'll keep an eye out on the Discord chat here for any events that might transpire, but for now, we'll continue with our commentary with the Boxmeister and PhazonKnight.
Yeah, so now they're heading into Sector 1, which one major thing in this sector is to not get hit. You really need to keep your missile count up so you can keep going fast and just plowing through enemies. But you also need at least 3 missiles going to the eye door at the end of the sector. Looks like Box is having a little bit of trouble with that Hornode room, which is understandable. That Hornode room is pretty annoying to figure out how to do it consistently.
Yeah.
Looks like both of them have really good missile counts so far.
Considering that they did pick up the main deck missile, I don't think that they should have any problems here, provided that they don't get hit repeatedly. It's all right to get hit like once or twice if you do pick up main deck missile.
Yeah, with main deck missile, basically the whole point in picking that up is just to make them run more consistent. So although it's like a 6-second time loss just to pick it up, it does save time later on with some boss fights. But it also helps out early on to make it a less of a chance you'll have to grind for missiles at the end of Sector 1 here. Looks like Box is perfectly fine on missiles, and PhazonKnight will be as well.
Yep, like Monkey said, Boxmeister perfectly fine on missiles here. He can even opt to ignore picking the red X up and just continue on after he destroys the eye door.
Wow. Yeah, so that RNG on the I-door there really evened up the runners. Box had a pretty decent sized lead coming in and ended up being only a couple seconds ahead afterwards because he got much worse RNG than PhazonKnight.
Yep, that's RNG for you.
And now both of them have the charge beam, which is extremely broken in this game. It has 3 parts. It has 2 actual shots, each doing 10 damage. And then it has a little flare that comes out around the arm cannon that is an extra 6. So this can make some boss fights extremely trivial, as well as this enemy right here.
Both runners still relatively close to each other, half a room apart it looks like, so I think PhazonKnight was able to catch up by the grace of RNG, keeping this race really close. But there will be some time during the race where you're not actually at the mercy of RNG and it comes down to your movement. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe, you know, Boxmeister continue to pull ahead, or if PhazonKnight is able to catch up with Box. Who knows? No one knows.
Yeah, so it looks like the Xoneris Reserenn race channel has been started. So we can be expecting a start for them pretty soon here.
Coming up is everybody's favorite sector, Sector 2. This is where runs go to die, especially in races. I'm very curious as to how both of these runners are going to approach Sector 2. Boxmeister not at full health, so he could take about 4 or 5 Zoro hits before bad things start happening, and Phazon also not at full health, but could probably take like 1 or 2 more.
Yeah,
Last time I remember, PhazonKnight died to the pancake in 100%. So even in 100%, when you do pick up like 2 extra E-tanks, Sector 2 is still a threat. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, those red enemies, the Zoros, they do 45 damage every time you run into them. So you take 3 or 4 hits, you're basically dead, if not very close.
Ooh, Phazon taking 2 hits. Both runners alike in health, and Boxmeister.
Oh.
Ooh.
Box has 1 hit, but PhazonKnight only has 2, so he's not in much more of a better situation here.
That slowdown caused PhazonKnight to catch right up and are within like 3 seconds of each other now. And Boxmeister, I would expect him to take rooms a little bit slowly, allowing Phazon to catch up. But Phazon takes a hit. And he's within like 2 hits before dying. Boxmeister picking up that yellow X wisely, and now has buffer here for another hit. Both runners.
Both of them opted to slow down, pick up a little extra yellow X's to make sure that they can stay alive.
Yeah, they're not out of the woods yet. Just about 3 more rooms here before they can be out of trouble. PhazonKnight catching up and also collecting yellow X's, so he's no longer in immediate danger here. Oh, and he misses the bomb jump. That's a 3-second time loss there. Boxmeister doing everything he can to make sure he does not get hit. He can afford to take 2 hits here, but I would not do that.
Yeah, Phazon, both of them now are in 2-hit range again. And yeah, this is the exact reason why this sector has taken so many people in this tournament and every other in the past. It's just really scary.
Coming up is Phazon's favorite room, the room with 4 pancakes. Let's see how he handles this. He decides to kill them.
He's taking out all of his anger on him.
This is the revenge for the humiliation. One last room of danger here. Boxmeister gets clear of it. I totally expect them to get this E-Tank here. And he does. PhazonKnight as well. Both runners keeping it close. A lot of spaghetti in Sector 2, but they managed to come out alive, although the threat is not completely over yet. Maybe one of these runners might decide to do SAX skip, and both runners are completely synced right now. This is going to be great. It's so much easier to count jumps here, both with 2 at the start. Box taking an extra jump.
Box has 7 already. PK has
Phazon
6.
now in the lead for now. And Box gets the better RNG in the last wave. You kind of don't want to have the worst RNG. He misses all of his missiles and he's going to have to do another round here. And Phazon is in the lead. We've seen like 3 lead changes in this boss fight.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I think both of them got 10 jumps. So
Box had that extra jump though in the end where Zazby will always give you a 0 jump when he's down to his last partition. I don't know, what do you call it?
Last section.
PhazonKnight now in the lead. We'll see how this transpires.
So coming up, we have our first real encounter with the SAX. There is a skip that you can do here to just run right past it, but it only saves like 7 seconds, and if you mess it up at all, you die. So definitely not viable for this tournament.
Ooh, I thought PhazonKnight started too soon there, and then he stopped. He wanted to go for the fastest exit after SAX leaves, but it looks like he jumped the gun a little bit, and now Boxmeister is in the lead by only
like less than a second.
And wait, I take
now
that back.
PK's back in the lead.
That's great.
Wow, this is crazy. Oh.
Super close race here.
Looks like Box is taking the lead yet again. Oh! And it looks like the Xoneris Reserenn race is going to start fairly soon here. Not sure if we're doing it on the same channel here or not.
We most certainly are.
Ooh. So now both of them will be heading off to Sector 4, which, if you have poor movement in this sector, you can take a lot of hits yet again, and just lose a lot of time in general. This sector is really cool, though. It has some really interesting movement.
Yeah, it's really crazy how close this race has been. Sector 2 really, like, just smashed them all in the same misery, and now both runners happy to be alive in Sector 4 and right on top of each other.
And now PhazonKnight's taking the lead yet again out of the text by less than a second.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, RTA, this is RTA, guys. Text matching matters. And if you don't have optimal text, you could easily lose time against somebody who matches text better than you.
Box taking a little hit there. Yeah, these crabs still do a lot of damage. So you definitely want to take it slow. Well, not take it slow, but you definitely want to be 100% sure that you're not getting hit here. Because any damage is not good.
Pretty good climb for both runners there. PhazonKnight in the lead still.
Definitely pulled a little bit further ahead there.
Well,
Probably about 3 seconds.
Yeah, they got a boss fight coming up though, so this could easily
more RNG.
Flip the table on us.
Yep, so coming up is Xoneris, which this boss is made trivial by the charge beam if you do it right. Xoneris has 50 HP. And if you can hit him with all 3 of your charge beam parts, you can kill it in 2 hits, which speeds up the fight significantly. Typically, casually, if you do it, it'll take about 5 hits. But, yeah, that can be completely avoided with some good charge beam shot placement.
So it looks like both runners with a good first hit. Phazon missing this opportunity for that quick second hit. Box gets it though, so Box is now in the lead. But both, PhazonKnight missing the point blank shot here. He's gonna go for another round. Box now has a commanding lead because this fight is very long. If you cannot kill it right away, Phazon. The next hit is for sure going to kill Xoneris though, so PhazonKnight has at least one more round here.
He is a little low on health though, so this core fight could be a little bit scary. Especially if he gets hit into the water. But he gets the 2 doubles. Looks like he'll be all good. Alright. So now Box has a much larger lead. Unfortunately, that Xoneris fight was not spectacular from PhazonKnight.
Yeah, we're looking
like
at probably a 40-second lead.
Ooh, PK missing that Shine Spark. Loses quite a bit of time because you'll have to, instead of just Shine Sparking through there and running back with the speed charge, you have to bomb the wall and then go in there and kill all the ouches, which loses a lot of time.
Oh no. Box messing up the low height here. Fortunately though, he did not actually use the Shine Spark, so he lost time, but he didn't lose that much time. If he did actually Shine Spark and it was not a low height, he would have lost even more time.
See if PK can pull off the low height. Both of them going way too far back. You pretty much only need to go about 2 little lines on the ceiling back. But PK not storing the Shine Charge But again, at least he didn't use the Shine Spark wrong, so didn't lose that much time.
Meanwhile, in the other race, okay, let's see. Both runners appear to be ready. I think they're just waiting on Phazon to set up the layout here for the four-way. As soon as that happens, I think we should be able to have ourselves a little four-way here.
In the meantime, we have both of our runners going to Sector 3. And, oh, switching to a 4-player layout now. In Sector 3, again, the enemies do quite a bit of damage, and you do need quite a bit of missile management for both boss fights and having enough missiles to do Sector 6 optimally, which is the next area.
Alright, as soon as we crop Xoneris' stream, I think everything should be good to go here. Boxmeister getting a nice mid-air Shine Spark. And his screen got fat.
Oh! Okay. I'm not sure what happened to Box's stream there, but it looks like even his timer got messed up.
Box with the Shine Break, gonna save him a little bit of time there. Pretty fancy swag strat. Actually pretty easy to do as long as you know where to start running from. Getting a speed booster, you can always tell when exactly you're going to get a speed booster based on how far you run. There's no RNG there, thank God. This game is full of RNG.
Yeah, it looks like Box will be just fine with missiles. You need 10 missiles to be able to kill the boss coming up here in just a second. And then we need another 3 to shoot down a missile barrier at the beginning of Sector 6. Otherwise, we'd have to do a slightly slower Shine Spark trick.
And it looks like Xoneris and Reserenn just started the countdown. We should see them start racing very shortly. Box having difficulty with Box. He's tinked a lot of missiles so far. He needs to make sure these missiles hit. Otherwise, he's gonna have to do Sector 6 another way, and he's resorting to charge beam here. This is PhazonKnight's chance to catch up.
Yeah, PhazonKnight lost all that time on Xoneris, and now he's going to be right behind Box after Box messes up Box. Oh, but it looks like PhazonKnight's having a little bit of trouble not tinking either.
Alright, Box finally done with Box. PhazonKnight right behind once again. So Boxmeister is gonna have to come up with some way to he could either Shine Spark through that missile barrier or pick up the missiles in the room to the left of it. We'll see what Boxmeister will do here very soon. Phazon with more than enough missiles, so he's alright there. Gonna check in on Xoneris and Reserenn. It looks like Reserenn is in the lead at the moment, but is still early on in his race. So a lot can happen. I mean, as you saw from the Boxmeister PhazonKnight fight or race, a lot did happen. and both the runners are still right next to each other. Boxmeister overshooting that jump. I've never actually seen anyone do that before.
Yeah, now they're back to less than 3 seconds apart. This is crazy close, especially for how far in we are.
Yeah, 30 minutes in. They're expected to finish in about an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where they're reaching halfway, and from then, I mean, it's go time, right? It's like you gotta execute. You gotta make sure you don't miss anything if you want to win this race, especially against those two where their PBs are so close to each other.
Yeah, I really feel like this race is going to come down to how each runner fares in the gauntlet, which will be coming up in about 20 minutes. In the meantime, Xoneris and Reserenn are about to pick up the missile upgrade. A little update on their PBs. Reserenn has a 49 and Xoneris has a 53 game time. So we got a little bit more of a difference between PhazonKnight and Box, but still potential for a really close race between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you saw, we basically had ourselves a spaghetti dinner in Sector 2 and with the box fight. So anything can happen.
Yeah, PhazonKnight's actually really low on health. If he takes even one Ice X, he's gonna die. Each Ice X does 69 damage, so...
Yeah, he's got 2 more rooms to navigate through, and he'll be safe picking up an E-Tank. But he needs to be super duper sure that he doesn't die. PhazonKnight's actually in the lead right now, after that mishap with Box. Box was forced to pick up that extra missile tank that he would have picked up on his way out. But PhazonKnight did not have to, so he was able to take the lead there.
So here we have another encounter with the SAX. This one's a lot easier to skip. Basically, all you have to do is just wait for him to take a couple steps after the power bomb is exploded, and then you can just shoot it and run right past it.
You want to be sure, though, that you don't trigger SAX immediately, because SAX will shoot right down at you. You want to make sure SAX takes at least 1 to 2 steps forward before provoking it. Phazon, I think that was a 4-beam. Box able to catch up on better RNG. Meanwhile, Xoneris, Reserenn just about finishing up the Arachnus fight here. And they're going to pick up that Morph Ball and head to Sector 1.
So now we have the Mega Core X fight for both PhazonKnight and Boxmeister. This fight can either go really well or really bad. There's really no in between. If you lose control of the Mega Core, you will lose a lot of time, because not only will it may require extra shots, but it also will go all the way over to the right side of the screen. But it looks like both of them a pretty clean fight.
There is a way to manipulate Mega Core X so that it rubber bands only to the left, but that means that you'd have to shoot at it when Samus's hitbox is to the right of Mega Core X's center, forcing it to go that way. If you miss your shot, if something else happens, then yeah, you could easily lose control of it.
Meanwhile, Reserenn opting to pick up the main deck missile, and he's about to be off to Sector 1, and Xoneris opting to do the same. Yeah, this category can be very volatile, so It's a good thing that we're seeing all 4 of these runners picking up the main deck missiles, because that really helps with consistency.
Boxmeister taking several hits from that ouch before finally clearing it and heading out. Phazon managed to pick up the missiles that he needed. Box, forgetting that he already got those missiles, he morphed as if he was going to go into that little hole in the wall. And then he remembered he already got it. Phazon overshooting the pad. He's not going to be able to shine spark out of here.
Yeah, now they'll be heading off to Sector 5 with their newly acquired Varia suit. This will allow them to explore deeper into Sector 5 than they would have if they went there without it. And then we'll be there to pick up the Ice Missile upgrade to allow us to freeze enemies. Also, another thing to mention, double missiles on the cores, they become more difficult for each missile upgrade you pick up, because for each upgrade, not only do the missiles fly faster, there's also a slightly longer cooldown in between missile fire times.
Well, it looks like Xoneris and Reserenn having little to no problems here. Sector 1, Xoneris opting to pick up the 100% E-Tank. It's probably a good idea if you took too many hits before that room, so that you maintain that full HP and not have to worry about missiles. Reserenn sporting a pretty good lead so far, but then again, it's like I said, it's way too early in the game to start speculating.
All comes down to boss execution later on in the run.
You know, I realized that Metroid Fusion is the only Metroid game that I am aware of where you don't need to hit a door with missiles or power bombs.
Really?
Well, yeah. I can't think of any other game. All the doors are opened by a beam in Fusion.
Oh yeah. The only doors that I guess you can't open are eye doors, the first 2. But like that's not an actual door.
Well, they're enemies. I mean,
yeah.
It's different.
I guess that is true.
Xoneris, I don't think he's going to attempt doubles here, so he's going to have to wait it out.
Yeah, Reserenn actually getting double on the charge core.
Xoneris getting pretty good RNG for not having to do doubles. Oh, Xoneris takes the first one and the second one.
Neither Box or Phazon forget the ice missiles. It's always a good sign. Yeah, it's looking like Reserenn's already building up a pretty solid lead. He's playing really well right now. He's definitely on a really good pace to start out.
Absolutely. And Xoneris did have to backtrack a little bit, picking up that E-Tank. You don't typically get in any percent, but if you're trying to play safe, there's really no harm in getting that.
Yeah, it's not even that big of a time loss. It's probably like 5 seconds if you do it optimally. So it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, in this category, it's definitely safety over speed for a lot of these racers.
And I don't know if either of these runners do it, but like when they know who they're racing against, would they be changing how they do things? You know, like for example, Reserenn has a 4-minute PB better than Xoneris. Would Reserenn resort to safety strats to maintain a lead, or is he going to run the game as if he's doing a PB attempt?
That's an interesting thought. Anyways, Box and PhazonKnight both enter the emergency in Sector 3 segment of the run. This segment is largely dependent on how good your movement is, and hopefully we'll see both of them getting at least above a 420, which is a really solid time for a race.
Yep, it is all movement here, no RNG except for the eye door. Everything else is up to how you get through each room. And both runners have more than enough missiles that they need to get through emergency with no issues.
Yeah, I think you want 16?
Yeah.
To get through? Yeah. So, both of them have way more than enough. Meanwhile, Reserenn entering Sector 2. Gonna have to deal with some Zoros, and Xoneris is still right behind him in the nav room text.
I was gonna say, I wasn't actually paying attention to PhazonKnight's side, but I was gonna say that he was going through fairly cleanly, but he's got 69 health, so I don't think it was actually pretty clean for him. I think Box actually is catching up here, so yeah, he's definitely caught up and in the lead now. I think he did get that double. Let's see. Yeah, double for Box. Very nice. PhazonKnight having difficulty manipulating the Core X here. I don't think he landed any doubles. Box with a 4:26 meltdown stop. That is 15 seconds Boxmeister gained over PhazonKnight in game time. And on the bottom half of the screen, Xoneris still trying to keep up with Reserenn. Reserenn doing all that he can to widen this lead, but Xoneris is right behind him. Looks like they are 2 rooms apart. 3.
Yeah, so both Box and PhazonKnight have the wide beam now. The wide beam, it's kind of an upgrade, kind of, maybe. It's more spread out than the charge beam, which is a good and a bad thing, but it does significantly more damage. I believe it does 45 without the flare, so pretty helpful.
Yeah, wide beam does do more damage than your vanilla charge beam, but the issue with wide beam is that even though that it is stronger, the area of the wide beam is actually misleading, especially when you're shooting at an angle. It would appear that you're shooting at something when you're in fact completely missing it, and you may see this phenomenon at main deck on the way down to Yakuza when the runners are shooting at the floor but could not hit that one beam block. Xoneris
So now, Box and PhazonKnight are heading up to save the animals. Sadly, it's required, but there's at least some cool movement up there, so I guess it's not all too bad.
I am all for saving the animals. I dumped my life savings into the Save the Animals incentive for every GDQ. Clean fight by Xoneris. Reserenn getting ready for that sex encounter. I don't think that either runner is going to do it. Even, no matter how hard they try to troll, I don't think that they're going to do it. Can't fool me.
Box opting to take it a little slow to make sure he gets that set up for the Shine Charge, which is pretty smart. This Shine Charge saves quite a lot of time, and the backup for it is kind of awkward, to say the least. We're about to see it from PK, because he unfortunately took a little bit too long with the Shine Charge. Meanwhile, both Xoneris and Reserenn are on their way out of Sector 2. Reserenn's still keeping a fairly large lead. And, yeah.
Yeah, unlike the other two runners, Xoneris doing swag-tastic tricks there. Using that spring ball to get up that platform. But unlike Boxmeister and PhazonKnight, Sector 2 was a lot more quiet. it was smoother than the other two runners. We didn't see any issues at all.
Yeah, no near-death situations, thankfully.
What if Samus is actually the SAX, and the SAX is actually Samus, and we're just being duped? You ever think about that?
No. But I think that's enough thinking for today. I'm gonna have to take the rest of the day off now. Because that, wow.
Well, the X-Parasites are highly intelligent things. They could have devised such a bamboozling plot.
Oh my. My brain is hurting. I'm sorry. Anyways, Box and PhazonKnight are both back in Sector 5 to pick up the Power Bomb upgrade, otherwise known as the Whooshy Whoosh.
Ooh, Phazon tried to go for it, but got hit by the crab, or slug. or whatever they are.
Crab slug gun shooting thing. Something like that.
Alright, Reserenn is approaching Xoneris. We will see.
See if Reserenn can get a 2-hit fight.
Oh no! He completely whiffs the first shot. So this might be a little bit tricky for him, but it looks like he's got it all under control. He knows the patterns of Xoneris. No problem at all.
Wow.
Minus that one mistake. Basically a perfect fight. He knew exactly what Xoneris was going to do and reacted accordingly.
Yeah, that was a really great recovery.
Alright, let's see how Xoneris does here. He could catch up here with a good Xoneris fight. First shot is good. And he gets a really clean
wow.
Xoneris fight. Very nice. So Xoneris is definitely going to catch up here against Reserenn. And he needs all the catching up that he can get. Oh, he falls into the water. He's going to lose. Well then. I guess he's not going to catch up.
Yeah, that's really bad. Now he's going to have to waste the time to climb out of it as well as fight it in the water. So you can't really get doubles. But... I mean, you can, but it's pretty difficult.
Alright, looking up on the top half of your screen, both runners are done with Sector 5 and on their way to the ship. Adam tells them to go to the ship. Samus will go to the ship. Spoopy music's going on, and we see a frozen Ridley. And for both these runners, we've just started the gauntlet. 3 bosses in a row, 2 of which are very difficult.
Yeah, this entire... 10-minute section could completely decide this race, because this is still anyone's race. PK could come back for sure and totally win this. At the same time, he could also completely crumble and even die to a boss. So
We don't want that to happen, but like you said, it's all high stakes at this point.
yeah, from here on out, anything can happen. You could have a ridiculously good endgame, or you could just die. Meanwhile, Reserenn on his way to Sector 3, and Xoneris just a little bit behind him, still in Sector 4, but still anything can happen for them.
Alright, we'll see what happens here. Yakuza is a great equalizer. Boxmeister getting that 0 beam to start. Phazon, like I mentioned earlier, that wide beam is deceptive. Could not find that beam block hole. Oh, Box is pausing the screen. Alright, I think he's trying to manipulate the RNG here, but it's not gonna happen.
Oh. What is happening?
That counts as a round though, so I think Box is what is he doing?
This is an interesting strat that isn't working.
Oh, and Phazon gets that one round. But he didn't shoot at Yakuza enough. Box with the 4 round, and oh no, he misses.
My.
What is going on here?
What is this Yakuza? Both of them are just struggling right now.
Both of the runners finish phase 1 at the same time.
The problem is Box has 9 missiles right now, but PK has really low health.
Well, Box could easily opt to use the charge beam that he's doing right now, but it's going to cost him some time. Phazon already showing a red Yakuza face, while Box just started turning Yakuza red. This is very interesting.
Wow.
This is definitely something we're going to have to ask them in the interview. What just happened at Yakuza?
That was an interesting Yakuza fight from both of them. The Box is pausing and slow mashing, and PhazonKnight's just what it was. Yeah. Yeah, as Paulsmore points out in the chat, no one died, and that's what's most important.
Now that we're done with Yakuza, on the bottom half of the screen, I did see Reserenn with a very beautiful Box 2 fight there with no issues, more than enough missiles that he needs for Sector 6. Meanwhile, Xoneris just picking up the super missiles and kind of sort of dangerously low on health here. If he gets hit by Box and manages to survive, he's got giant side hoppers to worry about in the next room. So he's gonna have to take it really, really carefully here.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, wow. Okay, so Xoneris is actually opting to skip the refill anyways. If that were me, I would have personally at least gone down in there and saved beforehand. Because if you take more than one hit from Box, you're pretty much screwed. And whether it be himself or the side hoppers.
But he gets a really good Box fight here, and he's got 10 missiles.
So Box having
worry about that giant side hopper coming up.
Oh my.
Okay, he's gonna redo that speed booster. It's a pretty good idea.
Ooh.
And he's taking this room very slowly. Very nice.
He's good to go now. Anyways, PhazonKnight now entering the Notori fight. This is the boss fight that you save time on from getting more than 40 missiles. So, since both of them got 45 missiles, you won't see much of a difference here. But let's say if one of them only got 40, there would be a significant amount of time saved from 45 missile runners.
Well, as it is right now, I think that it wouldn't have mattered if one was on 45 and the other one was on 40, because it looked to me like both runners excessively used charge beams and power bombs there.
Yeah, if you have 45 missiles, you really don't need to use a lot of charge beams and power bombs.
You only need to use 3.
Yeah. So.
But they did use many, so it kind of takes away from the time save at Notori for picking up 45 missiles.
So now they have the plasma beam, which now instead of doing 45 damage in 3 separate hits, it does 27 damage per frame that it is inside of an enemy. So definitely a change in damage type. So depending on the enemy or boss, it could either be better or worse than the wide beam.
In the case of the boss coming up, it is worse. It's in fact weaker to have plasma than it is to have wide beam against Nightmare. Because plasma will not penetrate Nightmare. like the text told you. The lying text.
Reserenn now going for the sack skip in Sector 6. Got it a little bit weird. He jumped and shot up, but still works out just fine. But I mean, like we said earlier, the Gauntlet completely changed this race. PhazonKnight was about 20 to 30 seconds behind going into the Gauntlet, and now has come out 20 seconds ahead about.
Yeah, we've seen like, I don't know, at least 10 lead changes so far.
Yeah, this race is
Boxmeister
crazy.
does have the better PB, but PhazonKnight is in the lead.
Yep. And we've only got about 20 more minutes left. So there really isn't much more room for error for Box at this point. He's really got to start catching up right about now. Luckily for him, we have a pretty difficult segment here. The Nightmare segment. Not only is the boss fight decently scary, but there's also a lot of time to lose if you can't manipulate it correctly.
Yeah, if you have no clue how to manipulate Nightmare, he could just follow you in circles and go around and round and round with no end. But I don't think that we would have any... Oh, Vox with that wind spark right into the wall. He's gonna have to make the long journey, the long sad journey.
Losing even more time. Now he's really got to make sure that he's on top of his game. His PK did actually get that Shine Spark all the way across, and now has an even larger lead. So Reserenn on his way out of Sector 6 now with the Various Suit in hand. And Xoneris is about to pick up the Various Suit. And at the same time, PhazonKnight and Box are about to get rid of the Various Suit in favor of the Gravity Suit.
Pretty good first round there for Phazon. Box not that far behind, actually. Oh, Phazon baits it just a little bit too high. He's gonna tink all his missiles here if he's not careful.
Oh, he is actually running pretty low on health. This could end up a little bit scary.
Phazon with the jumpy strats finally gets rid of Nightmare. Box having issues manipulating. There we go. Alright, at least he's gonna kill Nightmare here.
Yeah, definitely saves a little bit of time, but not a whole lot. He's starting the core just as PK is about to finish it up. Now PhazonKnight has the Gravity Suit, which allows us to just run straight through water. Pretty epic. And it doesn't look like garbage.
It appears that Boxmeister missed every attempt at doubles. But it looks to me, though, that Box... Oh! Phazon with the bonk. With that ultra low height clipping the corner of that platform. Let's see if Box can get a cleaner Shine Spark here. And he doesn't open the door!
Oh, wow! PK managing to hold on to this lead with every mistake.
It's like they're playing a game of horse.
It seems like every single mistake that PhazonKnight is making, Box also makes the same mistake.
Yeah, Box is like, I can do that too.
He's trying to show off his copycat skills.
So it looks like Box is actually showing better movement in lower sector 4 here than PhazonKnight. Can he catch up? Looking down at the bottom half of the screen, Reserenn about to unlock those not sector 4, level 2, I think. Level 3 doors. And is gonna be on his way for ice missiles. Xoneris just started talking to Adam here in the beginning of Sector 5, so he's got quite a ways to go if he wants to catch up to Reserenn. Looking up in the top half of the screen, Phazon's still in the lead, but Boxmeister is right there, and he's catching up.
Yeah, this is really close. Like, really close, even more so now. I would say they're probably less than 15 seconds apart at this point. Oh no! We're gonna get a high five! Phazon missed the space boost.
And Boxmeister gets it and is now in the lead! We should have a lead change counter, because I'm pretty sure it's like 13 now.
And now Phazon's back in the lead! Oh my god!
Box with a mishap. This is crazy.
Wow, they're back and forth again. Meanwhile, Reserenn keeping a commanding lead over Xoneris, a solid 2 minutes at this point. But wow. I mean, we said at the beginning that this race was going to be close, and oh my.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the most interesting race that we've had so far in this entire tournament.
Yeah. I mean, again, they're no more than 10 seconds apart heading into the last 10 minutes of the run. Oh wow, never mind. They're less than like 3 seconds apart.
Oh, someone did not text mesh optimally, and they're synced.
Wow. Oh my god. This race is crazy. Now that we're heading back to Sector 6, they gotta fight the Xbox now. This fight could completely change this entire race, because if you mess it up at all, you're probably gonna mess it up quite a bit, because the patterns get really messed up. So this fight could either go really well for both of them, or just completely awful. Meanwhile, Reserenn already in emergency, about halfway through it. And Xoneris about to enter in probably another 45 seconds here.
PhazonKnight's in the chat. My fingers hurt, said PhazonKnight. I think he's quoting Ringo Starr. I've got blisters on me fingers. But PhazonKnight is representing NA. So he's definitely not copying Ringo Starr.
USA! USA!
Keeping the race really close here. PhazonKnight actually pulled ahead by just a little bit. Boxmeister not so far behind though.
Oh my god. This race. I cannot believe how close this is. This may come all down to RNG.
You think so? I don't think so.
It could. If they keep playing like this, it could come down to the Idor RNG before replay.
Warning.
Oh! He came missing the bomb on the ceiling, but recovered just barely quick enough.
And Box going for the safer Box 2 strats to avoid getting hit here, but he's tinking everything. Phazon one more round away from killing Box 2, and
there
he gets
it is. Alright.
Box just cannot find that hitbox, and finally gets it. PhazonKnight extending the lead here.
Box struggling with both the box fights in the run. What a coincidence that is. PhazonKnight has extended his lead. He's now at probably 6 to 7 seconds ahead now with the wave beam. Box just now getting it. So still ridiculously close. This could still come down to the very end of the run. We got about 10 minutes left. Can PK keep the lead, or is he gonna choke it all away? Let's find out.
Well, let's take a look at the history of NA versus EU matches.
USA!
PhazonKnight won TSM versus Boxmeister. I don't know who. What is the best EU team now for League?
Well, I don't know. I don't pay attention to League. If I had to guess, Cloud9.
But Cloud9 is NA.
Oh right, never mind. We're looking at EU.
A lot of red going on. You got 3 screens blinking red right now.
And another one in a red area. Oh, this is a headache and a half. Yeah, PhazonKnight a full cutscene ahead of Box at this point.
Oh, Xoneris is going for the safety strats here, keeping that Corax in one place. Very interesting way for Xoneris to get that sweet spot. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that, but it works.
Yep, so Reserenn's already on his way out, heading up to save the animals. Meanwhile, Xoneris is still deep into Sector 3, having just finished Emergency. But now, we head off on the top half, PhazonKnight and Boxmeister. They'll be heading off to fight the giant, gargantuan, screaming, really loud lizard man.
What do you think? Will the lead change here?
Yes. PhazonKnight gets 4 beams, Box gets 1. And Box ends up having the better Ridley fight.
We'll see.
This is an interesting strat from PhazonKnight. Ledge grabbing into that hole to place the power bomb.
Oh, okay, you should be alright here.
Alright, I wasn't sure if he
pirates,
killed that second one.
Oh, Boxmeister having issues killing the spitters.
So
And
PhazonKnight
having
will be
issues
saving
with
a
the
little
gold
bit more
pirates.
time.
He's
Wow.
gonna lose a lot of time here.
PhazonKnight with the 0 beam. Wow, Box took a lot of damage there. That could have been really scary.
Well, the red X is only going to give you 300 health, and he's not going to be full health after this.
Ooh.
Oh, is it 400 health? It's like 350. He does get full health.
PhazonKnight not having an amazing Ridley fight, so Box can definitely save time here.
It looks like Phazon was playing tag with Ridley, running all around the arena.
Yeah, he lost a lot of health.
Yeah, optimally, you want to stay in the right-hand corner of the arena and have Ridley just come at you, but Phazon was just running. Box is actually not having a good fight himself.
Yeah, wow. Looks like PhazonKnight might have even saved more time. Let's see if Box can get any doubles. The fusion missile doubles are pretty difficult. Oh, he actually got one. They're really difficult. Much more so than ice missiles. And yeah, he pulls one out. Looks like PhazonKnight is still probably about 20 seconds ahead. So we'll see if that can change during the final text boxes, or even during the final boss fights. We've we've got 2 more to go. So this can still completely change. These final 2 boss fights can very easily be choked.
We shall see.
Meanwhile, Reserenn heading down to Sector 5 to pick up his power bomb upgrade, and Xoneris is about to save the animals.
Oh, Box takes a dip there. I think he meant the 2-on morph and space jump. Xoneris opting for intended strats here in the climb room. Looks pretty good. Oh, Xoneris with really bad RNG for animals. And Reserenn already in Sector 5. He's going to pick up power bombs. Meanwhile, upstairs, PhazonKnight still in the lead. I think he had better movement for this part, so he's extending that lead. Well, I guess PhazonKnight just called me a liar. But still, kind of sort of comfortably in the lead.
Yeah, PhazonKnight heading into the final text boxes here.
Resident Sleeper text. Looking at the bottom half of the screen here, Xoneris picking up the elevator missile. Reserenn already has power bomb, so we're looking at, if I had to guess,
probably a solid 2-minute 30-second lead at this point.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit less. Right. This is, yeah. Reserenn's definitely putting on a show here. He's playing really well for himself.
Still,
PhazonKnight is out of the Resident Sleeper text. He's officially done with the cutscenes for the run. From here on out, all it is just straight execution. So we'll see if Box can pull back the extra 20 seconds or so that he's behind.
Is that the name of a Pokemon?
What is?
Execution?
There's Executor and Execute.
Do they execute things?
Kind of. Executor is pretty decent. Grass Psychic is a interesting typing.
Do they wear like a black hood and have a scythe?
No. It's a whole ton of. It's a tree with eggs and leaves.
I'm thinking like an actual executioner, like the Hangman or something. I guess not.
No, it's literally just a tree with eggs.
What kind of tree lays eggs?
That's a good question.
Alright. Xoneris is picking up the power bomb upgrade. We're gonna see him encounter an SAX. Meanwhile, Reserenn on his way to the ship.
Yeah, we're seeing Xoneris encounter an SAX while PK is fighting the SAX. Looks like he got that first phase pretty solidly.
Oh, PhazonKnight
no.
not getting that 2-hit. He's at risk of soft locking here if he's not careful.
Oh, he's just fine, but he's really low on health. This could be scary if he doesn't opt to take a safe strat.
Box with a decent first round of SAX. Let's see if he can get that 2-shot here and hopefully catch up a little bit. I think he got it. No, he didn't either.
Wow. Alright.
Does
And
Box know how to do doubles? He could catch up. First one was a tink.
He's done with the fight. So all this is gonna come down to is escape, is what it looks like.
Box is in danger. If he takes another hit here, he'll be beeping.
Oh my. If he takes any more damage, he's dead.
Oh, that dodge! The jukes! The jukes!
Oh my god. Oh. My heart.
Propulsion sequence
PhazonKnight, all but like 3 rooms away from victory. I hope he does not mess up.
All this comes down to is whether or not PhazonKnight can get the stun lock on Omega Metroid. If he can get it, then he wins. Wow. Oh my god, my heart, dude. That was so scary.
Oh! Phazon with the wind spark! Fortunately, he does not lose a lot of time here, and he'll just walk through this room casually.
Alright, here we go. This is where the entire run comes down to. If Box takes a hit from the Omega besides the clock, he dies. So keep that in mind as well.
It's
If he
high
stands
height.
too close.
I don't think
This
Box
just
is gonna
be
risk
over.
it. He's just gonna sit in Morph Ball and wait for that swipe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's fine. If he were to run into that before he got hit by that claw, he would have been done.
Oh,
And-
Phazon!
PhazonKnight
Okay.
gets it. That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
That is it.
What a race.
GG. I don't have the SRL up here, but PhazonKnight.
PhazonKnight is going to finish with a final SRL time of 1:22.00. Wow. Box
GG.
also getting the stun lock. Jeez. What a race. And Box will finish just 23 seconds behind PhazonKnight with a 1:22.23. GG to both of our runners. What a race that was. Holy cow. Looks like we've already got both of them in general looking to be dragged in for an interview.
Do it.
Whew.
I was like, oh, I really need to hope for the best.
GG,
Alright.
you
Such a good
two.
race.
Really
Yeah,
close race.
GG, that was crazy. Holy cow.
I hate myself. I really hate myself.
I can't feel my fingers. They started out feeling awful, and now I just can't feel them at all.
My fingers are cold from the excitement and that kind of stuff. My hands are still shaking.
Oh yeah, the chat wants to know, Boxmeister, about your Yakuza pause strats.
Well, what happened? I can explain that. I was like, well, for the longest time I just let Yakuza swoop by and then wait until he opens his mouth. But at one point I was like, I should implement strats to cut those rounds short. So I was like, yeah, but I tried on my Game Boy controller and I was like, yeah, I can't match fast enough. And then I took a look at my GameCube controller, which I have to plug in for the Game Boy interface software to select the software and that kind of stuff. And I was like, but the analog stick is a different kind of story, because I could use this sort of swooping motion on the analog stick to get quick Yakuza rounds. The problem is that I would have to grab it so quickly and so tight that I accidentally would press other buttons, amongst which the X button, which is mapped to start, I think.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't really work out, and oh, my box 1 fight was also terrible. I lost so much time on stupid mistakes, really.
It's all the same.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not unheard of to switch controllers in a run. Like, I know Eagle switches to his GameCube controller.
For the double Idor missiles, right?
Yeah.
I that's where I got the idea from. I saw the controller and I was like, I could use a different controller for that fight, sure, but the thing is, for firing missiles, the GameCube controller doesn't really work, so I have to quickly switch back again. And what happened during the first time the mouth opened was that I got the GameCube controller wrong, and that got me another input, which resulted in me firing diagonally, which cost me the round, basically. So I had to wait for another Yakuza round. Little mistakes.
Well, both of you had... both of you were not able to phase Yakuza after the grab phase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yakuza was like, yeah, I have to hope for the best. I haven't mastered the controller sets down. Obviously, I've started doing it recently, and I was like, this is gonna be a 50-50 thing. And I knew that the race was close because I had been checking the restream several times up until that point. So I knew that I would have to go for it. I mean, it's a close race. You need to get every you need to pull all the stops basically. Because at that point I could say that I have no regrets trying to get the victory.
I agree.
Yeah, that race was ridiculous. I want to say there was at least 15 lead changes between you guys, and you guys were straight up less than 3 seconds apart up until about 10 minutes left with the run.
Yeah, I checked
Wow.
several times in between and I was like, oh crap, I'm seeing the same screens on both ends. This is not a good thing. Because that means that any mistake will cost me twice as much. Oh, but really, really well done. That was really a splendid race.
It really was.
Yeah, GG to PhazonKnight for pulling out that win, and GG to Box as well for keeping it so close the entire time.
I'm not feeling so bad about this victory. I mean, I made mistakes, but I pulled all the stops. I took every weapon out of my arsenal, even though some may have backfired on me. I have no regrets, and it was a really fun race. And oh my god, I'm still shaking.
All right, so the bracket is now updated. Boxmeister is moving down to the losers bracket, where he will face off against the loser of VR6, Sophia, or one of these two runners playing right now.
The winner of Xoneris and Reserenn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I have to face Ross, don't I? Crap.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
That's alright. It's an easy win.
Yeah, I see the other match now on the restream as well.
Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and, well, unless you guys have any other comments.
No further comments.
No comments for me.
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the commentary for the bottom half of this race.
Yeah, GG
feel
once
free.
again to both of you.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. Feel free to join in on the commentary if you want.
I'll drop out. I really need some recovery after that exciting match.
Yeah, I don't
I
blame
agree.
you. That
Oh,
was
big deal.
definitely a match that I'll have to rewatch. That was crazy.
No problems at all. So going back to the race here, Reserenn does have a commanding lead. We're talking minutes here. So the only thing he has to worry about, honestly, is just his execution and not making a disaster of his run.
Yeah. Xoneris is currently heading towards Nightmare to pick up the gravity suit. I think Reserenn's gonna be picking up the diffusion missiles probably a solid minute before Xoneris gets the gravity suit. So there's definitely at least a 3-minute advantage at this point. I really don't foresee Xoneris coming back unless something tragic happens to Reserenn at the end of the game.
Well, if you take a look at the history of Metroid Fusion races, you'll see that the amount of spaghetti that happens in any race, whether it's any percent or 100%, it's ridiculously high. The very first match of this tournament, Hercules bench press versus Sophia, resulted in Hercules, who was the clear favorite, to lose against Sophia, who was the last seed in the tournament. So anything can happen despite what kind of lead you see here right now.
Yeah, in that race, Herc actually died to the Ridley boss fight, which is only about 8 minutes away for Reserenn here, so you never know what could happen. Meanwhile, Xoneris is heading into the Nightmare boss fight, and Reserenn's about to pick up his diffusion missiles.
So, pretty choppy first round there for Xoneris. Forcing Nightmare all the way to the left. It's going to cost him some time here for Nightmare to inch back to his phasing point. Let's see if Xoneris can, and he will, manipulate Nightmare properly. Pretty good second phase there for Xoneris.
Meanwhile, Reserenn heading off to Sector 6 to go fight the Xbox, pick up his Wave Beam upgrade.
Ooh,
Xoneris getting 2 doubles on the ice, on the...
very nice.
3 doubles, although the third one didn't matter. It was a very nice core fight.
Very nice core fight indeed.
Yeah, so Rasu has to BRB for a quick minute, so I'll be by myself here for a little bit. Xoneris is heading down into lower sector 4. He is off to pick up his diffusion missile upgrade, as well as unlock the sector or the security level 4 doors. Meanwhile, Xoneris is in sector 6. Alright, let's see if Reserenn can have himself a good Xbox fight. Ooh, Xoneris taking a lot of damage from those mermaid space pirates, but looks like he'll be okay. He's got the 6 E-tanks that he has, so he'll be perfectly fine. Looks like Reserenn had a fairly clean fight. He's going for wave core doubles. Oh, never mind.
I don't believe you.
I thought he was going for him at first with that first shot, but he chickened out at the end there. But it does only look like he's probably only less than 10 seconds behind his PB at this point, which is really solid. He's definitely playing really well right now. Meanwhile, Xoneris is taking that unfortunate wind spark. About to pick up his
I wouldn't
diffusion
call it
missiles.
unfortunate. I mean, he did make the best out of it, going
That is
diagonally
true.
upwards instead of straight horizontal.
Mm-hmm. Reserenn about to make a chunk of the space station crash into a planet. Because why not?
Yeah, Sam is just a giant troublemaker, destroying Federation property and destroying classified science projects.
I mean,
Just
if you
a
think
rebel.
about it, this entire section of the space station is really just a glorified science project.
Well, I'm surprised Sam is not in jail right now.
Arrested for her crimes, get life in prison.
And let's not forget evading arrest here, because Adam did tell Samus to just stay there to get picked up by the authorities, but again, with all of her rebellious self, decides to destroy things and escape.
Mm-hmm. So Xoneris is now going to pick up his wave beam, fight Xbox. Yeah, at this point, Reserenn is an entire split ahead of Xoneris, an entire sector. So there's probably at least a solid 4-minute lead at this point. So, barring pretty much this point, barring a death from Reserenn, this race is already over.
But who knows? I mean, Reserenn does have 5 E-tanks, so if there is spaghetti involved in this Ridley fight, at least we can say that he could come out alive. But who knows? Who knows?
Interesting setup for those gold pirates. He's about to start his own Ridley fights. See how many beams he get on his last eye door. Only a 1 beam, not bad.
Ridley fight's looking good so far. He's definitely giving Reserenn really good opportunities for a clean diagonal shot. So we should see like 2 more hits here before Ridley's down,
Yeah.
or 1.
That was a really clean fight. It was really solid. Unfortunately, no doubles. But it looks like Xoneris had a fairly clean Xbox fight himself, about to finish up his wave beam core.
And he gets a sweet spot. Very nice.
Warning, no entry without authorization. Warning, no entry without authorization. Warning, no entry without authorization.
Yeah, so to answer chat's question, this SEX softlock we were talking about earlier in the conclusion of the box PhazonKnight race, basically what happens, if you kill the second phase of the SAX fight, the big nasty looking thing, if you kill that on a certain frame in its turning animation, it'll actually have no health left, but its hitbox will be gone. So you just can't kill it.
Enemy locked down. 60 seconds to isolation lockdown.
So hopefully that doesn't happen. It's pretty rare for it to, but you never know.
Yep, and I mean, if you kill the second phase like you're supposed to, then you should never have to worry about it. But you know, anytime there's a mistake in that second phase, we start worrying about soft locks because that thing does like to turn around often, and hitting it at the wrong time could cause you to lose the entire run. And it's kind of frustrating too, especially because you're right there at the very end, and then something like that happens.
Reserenn now in the final text sequence of the run. Xoneris on his way to face off with the giant man lizard in space, opting to pick up a 7th E-tank. Wow, lots of safety. I guess I can't really blame him though. He's definitely seems like he's been a little bit rusty. So,
Well, Xoneris is primarily a 100% runner, so he may have some 100% habits here. And picking up E-tanks, like he might not know what exactly are the E-tanks that you're supposed to get for any percent. And on top of trying to be safe in his run, he's picking up the missiles. I mean the E-tanks that are right there.
yeah, I also noticed that he has 50 missiles instead of just the normal 45 or 40. So again, definitely opting to either be safe or just having his 100% habits kind of take over. Reserenn is now off to face off against the SAX and Omega Metroid to go finish off his run.
Oh, my ears. Oh, Ridley giving Xoneris some trouble here.
Still not a horrible fight. I think that was probably about even with Reserenn's. So not bad at all. See if he can get any doubles. Again, the fusion doubles are really difficult. So even just getting one is pretty special. And I think he did actually just get one. So that's really awesome. Reserenn opting to take the safety save before the SAX. Definitely a smart choice.
Yeah, considering his lead, it is definitely a good choice.
He can definitely afford to take either one death or a soft lock. Maybe even two if it happens early on. He's got the time.
Alright, let's see how the SAX fight fares for Reserenn. Looking good with the stun lock.
Getting 5 shots, so not optimal but not bad at all. Pretty much your main concern with that fight is just getting it in general. If you can just get the strat, it really doesn't matter how many shots it takes. See how many doubles he can pick up.
Oh, having a hard time space jumping there.
Oh, there's one. Ah, looks like he's just getting one double here. So not bad at all either. This core is definitely not easy to double either. Because not only do you have to space jump up, but you also have to use diffusion missiles, and it's also an I-core. So all three combined make it pretty difficult to get doubles there. But now he has started his final escape sequence off to fight the Omega Metroid and end his run. Meanwhile, Xoneris is about to enter the final tech sequence. Yeah, so chances are we do actually, we'll most likely see a 49 coming out of Reserenn, which ties his PB. I've noticed that he's only been a couple seconds behind his PB the entire time. I think at the last split he was maybe only +5 or 10.
Oh, that's really nice. You want to make sure that you're in tip-top shape for your tournament, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely want to stay consistent. Just because you can get a good time every once in a while doesn't mean that you're gonna be, you know, consistent in winning your races. Just because you get a 45 doesn't mean, and just because you get a 145 and average like 48s doesn't mean you're gonna win your tournament.
All right, let's see if Reserenn can get that soft lock here for the win.
Soft lock for the win.
Not soft lock. Stun lock for the win. He's going for the vertical shot here.
And he gets it just fine. So that'll
Very
do it for the run. I don't think this is gonna PB, but it's gonna be very close. Aw, just barely missing it. Yeah, wow. 6 seconds off of his PB. Finishing with a final SRL time of 1:17:52. GG Reserenn. So Reserenn will be moving on to play. Let's see here. Where is it? He'll be moving on to play against Sophia next round.
Very nicely done. GG to Reserenn. Ah, that's...
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely did take a safety save before the SAX. If he wouldn't have safety saved, he might have PB'd by about 1 or 2 seconds. It wouldn't have been enough to get a 48 in game time, but whatever.
I wonder if Xoneris will do diagonal strats here. I don't think I've seen him try. Let's find out.
He's doing a oh!
No. See if he can get control back.
Alright, he's got it. Oh! And there it is. Alright, very nice. Very nice recovery.
Not out of the woods yet.
Taking a lot of hits from this Ice Beam core, but even so, he'll be fine. He's got enough E-tanks. And there it is.
Very nicely done.
Propulsion sequence activated.
Xoneris now off to face off the Omega Metroid and finish up.
All right. This is it. Just a few more rooms to go for Xoneris. Let's see if we can get the low height here. Oh, almost.
Alright, so looks like we've run just a little bit over our time slot, so unfortunately we won't have time for interviews from either of our runners, but still, amazing runs from both of them. GG's. I guess while Xoneris is finishing up here, we should probably pull up the schedule. So tonight we have another race at actually in about 2 hours. That'll be Shasta versus Next Gen. That'll be on Speed Gaming 4. And then currently the next race schedule will be Wednesday, but I'm sure there'll be more in between then. That race will be at 5 p.m. EDT, and that'll be me versus Destructor.
Yep, with the conclusion of this race, round 1 is in the books, and we're going to advance into round 2 of the winner's bracket, and then round 1 of the loser's bracket will fill up here, and we'll have more Metroid Fusion for you guys in the future. Unfortunately, like Monkey said, we don't have much time left. We actually don't have any time left. We are 5 minutes overlapping the next event going on in this channel. So we will go ahead and transition over. GG to Reserenn, GG Xoneris, Boxmeister, and PhazonKnight. Thanks everyone for watching. And
yeah, great showings from everyone.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to tune in about 2 hours, Speed Gaming 4 for our next race.
All right. That is it for us, and we will see you again later. Have a good night, everyone.